4K monitors are nothing new, but now there's the next acronym on the horizon, HDR, or High Dynamic Range. Now this monitor from Acer is the first I've tested with the tech, so does it actually make sense, and is this something you should invest in?
Oh, he's got a gun! Oh!
Well, for the most part, the answer is actually yes, as it's a fantastic display with great colours, a low level of input lag, and it's just generally a really nice monitor to use. But unfortunately, it also represents everything that's wrong with HDR monitors at the moment. Before we explore that further, I probably should touch on the design, because for most people, this is exactly what you'd want from a monitor. Its 32-inch form factor is ideal for 4K, though it may be too big for some desks, with a sleek, understated design that looks stylish and unaggressive. It is a pro monitor, so you get a detachable hood in the box for bright rooms and colour critical scenarios, but don't worry if you're a gamer because we've got FreeSync here too, between 30 and 60 frames per second. The stand has all the adjustments you need, so height adjust, tilt, swivel and pivot, and if you don't like the stand you can of course remove it entirely thanks to that VESA mount. Around the back of the display you'll find one DisplayPort 1.2, two HDMI 2.0 and one USB 3.1 Type-C. Connectivity is actually pretty perfect really, as it's future-proof with that Type-C interface and it allows for HDR 4K content. Now this monitor is an IPS type, and as such we've got a very good rich, vibrant IPS panel that gives you brilliant viewing angles. Drawing upon the raw image quality, it's truly fantastic out of the box. And there's different modes for each colour space, including a preset for HDR. And Acer quote that 130% of the sRGB and 95% of the DCI P3 colour gamuts are covered, but there's no doubt that image quality is top drawer even if you're not after something that is truly colour accurate. But I can't talk about this monitor any longer without touching upon the HDR, because in this case it's actually a little bit of a ruse. See, the problem is that HDR is actually such a generic term, and manufacturers can simply whack a high dynamic range label on any monitor that supports a standard of HDR. But there are loads of them out there, and just because a monitor can take the signal, it doesn't necessarily mean it can display it properly. And this Acer monitor only has a peak brightness of 550 nits, it doesn't have any sort of local dimming, it's just a global backlight, and it's not actually a true 10-bit panel either. So is this HDR? Well, no, not really. That doesn't mean to say it's a complete waste of time, as after watching numerous videos on YouTube or Netflix in HDR, I've got to say that while it is definitely subtle, the images do tend to look a little bit more vibrant, but then almost a bit more lifelike at the same time. It's an odd one to explain, as it's not always easy to notice the difference, but it can be a lot more natural to watch. Video games are a similar story, but there aren't really that many that support the tech, so it's even less of a feature to get excited about. Scenes in Battlefield 1 and Mass Effect Andromeda can indeed look outstanding, but it's nowhere near as impressive as a UHD Premium certified HDR television. Speaking of gaming though, this isn't really a gaming monitor, and yet it sort of is at the same time. I mean, it's 4K, 60 frames a second, the input lag is very low, and of course it's got that FreeSync technology. And when you're playing games like PUBG, it actually can make a lot of sense to have 4K, as it's genuinely helped me out to see enemies in the distance. Sure, the usual caveats will apply, such as needing a lot of GPU horsepower, and of course your frame rate is limited to a max of 60 rather than something like 144, but the results really can be stunning. And no, it's not the fastest IPS panel in the world, and as such the response time is definitely not the quickest. But having said this, at 60Hz, I've actually not really noticed anything that's a noticeable issue. You don't get the contrast smearing like you can do with a lot of VA panels. On the whole, I've actually really enjoyed using it, and I can confirm that the display has actually seen some chicken dinner. It's not a gaming display, but if you're the sort of person that wants to do work and play games, it's not actually a bad shout at all. So on balance then, this actually is a fantastic monitor, and it's the best 4K monitor that I think I've ever used. It's aimed at creative professionals, but it's a great all-rounder for anyone that's after a top-notch IPS display that will make everything look jaw-droppingly good. Couple that with a fantastic design, low level of input lag, and an £800 RRP, and it's actually very appealing. The main issue is that it's branded as HDR, and it's basically not. Sure, it can give you a visible boost to TV and video games, but if you're specifically after an HDR monitor, this really isn't for you. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think about HDR. I think this is a really interesting one and you could help shape the content I make going forward. Do you want to see more HDR monitor reviews, more in-depth dive? Let me know down in the description. Let me know down in the comment section below. Check that description though for the link to this monitor to check current pricing. As you can tell, it's time for me to go. It's way too hot in this room. I've got to go to London. It's all a bit of a rush. See you next time. Subscribe.
I flew off the back like into the building, like about 200 miles an hour and died.